Heads up, this video is going to contain spoilers for You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. So if you haven't read it yet, save this video and come back once you have. All right, disclaimer out of the way, let's get into it. So first I want to say it was pretty cute in the beginning. If I didn't know that this was a thriller, I would have thought it was a romance. Can someone explain the pit of animals? It was never explained, like, in the reveals later, like, if he had a use for that or if it was part of some plan. Like, it was just like, what? And little Miss Charlotte, she was thirsty, out of hand, and rude. I mean, she was so rude. I wanted to throat punch her on several occasions. So this book had me guessing the entire time, and at one point, I thought the entire town was in on people, like, as a whole, because everybody was sus. So we had Charlotte, who was super jealous. We had Miss Betty, who was off of her meds. I mean, there was no explanation of what kind of meds, but then you have Joe, who was violent and drunk. And then you got Calvin, who was super, like, obsessive and possessive. So yeah, I thought all of them were just in on it together. Speaking of Joe, let's talk about how he set the house on fire and, like, tried to kill Grace. I mean, what was that? And, like, the end of the book, this is where it gets, like, super crazy. And Grace has that dream of Calvin her with, like, putting, like, a giant hook inside of her, like, hooking her like a fish. I thought it was real at first, but then I was like, why is she still thinking all these thoughts? I'm pretty sure she would be, like, screaming and at this point. Now, I thought the part where Grace, like, put something in the coffee and basically, like, paralyzed Calvin, I thought that was pretty cool. That was a neat, like, turn of events. And then we find out that Calvin not only killed his ex and lied about the whole thing, but he killed one of his guests as well. And then we have Grace discovering the heads in the closet on plaques. So he has existing heads, and then he had empty ones for the female guest that's in the shed in the woods, and then there's one with Grace's name on it. Creepy. And then on top of that, we got Grace, who is a serial killer. Hello. She does this for fun. Well, she says to scratch an itch. So she does this regularly. She goes out in the middle of nowhere and kills somebody. I mean, it was kind of genius. Like, she changed her appearance, her name. She bought a rinky-dink, like, rusty, dusty car with cash, had a legitimate rental, like, sitting somewhere waiting for her. Her real life is completely untouched. And then she's got all the shenanigans going on over here. But then it gets better. She's married with children. Like, my jaw dropped when I found out she was married with children. I mean, it dropped a couple of other times, but I was like, are you serious? And then I loved how it ended, like, I feel another itch. Like, already, girl? Already? I really enjoyed how I was guessing the entire time, and those reveals were pretty damn good. Let me know in the comments what your favorite parts were, or if I missed anything.